Batman used to carry shark repellent spray in his tights. Before 1986, the public saw him as a campy, dancing TV joke. Adam West's deadpan do-gooder dominated pop culture. In comics, DC considered Batman an emasculated second-class citizen. Enter 20-something writer-artist Frank Miller. Fresh off revitalizing Marvel's Daredevil, DC handed him the keys to save Batman. Miller's bold idea? Fast forward to a near-future Gotham, where an aging Bruce Wayne had retired a decade prior. Without Batman, Gotham City crumbled into a decaying, crime-ridden hellhole, overrun by a ruthless new gang called the Mutants. Miller drew inspiration from his own move to New York City in the 1970s, a metropolis facing serious real-world decay. To fight this hellscape, Batman couldn't be a gentleman detective. He had to become a brutal, bone-breaking vigilante. Miller channeled Clint Eastwood's Dirty Harry, creating a massive, square-jawed powerhouse who took grim satisfaction in violence. DC editors panicked. Countless loud shouting matches broke out over how violently Batman was treating criminals. But Miller pushed harder, changing the comic layout completely. He packed pages with 16 tiny panels to build relentless speed. "I wanted that chop-chop-chop rhythm," Miller recalled. "To make your teeth as gritted as Batman's." Suddenly, the story wasn't just edgy, it turned apocalyptic. A subway grenade explosion rocked Gotham. Colorist Lynn Varley abandoned standard comic colors, adding rich watercolor tones that gave Gotham a dark, cinematic feel. Inker Klaus Janson brought heavy, gritty line work that made Batman look like an unstoppable force of nature. But Miller wasn't just changing Batman. He completely reinvented the entire DC universe. The Joker was stripped of his silly gags and turned into an absolute, cold-blooded sadistic psychopath. Miller noted the Joker was originally a mass killer in 1940. "I dragged comics back to Pulp Fiction. And Superman? He wasn't a shining hero anymore. He was turned into a government stooge for Ronald Reagan." The Ultimate Clash saw an armored Batman fighting Superman, a battle that changed superhero confrontation forever. When issue 1 dropped in 1986, sales blew through the roof. Miller's life changed overnight. Author Stephen King called it probably the finest piece of comic art ever to be published. Mainstream media gasped. Headlines worldwide proclaimed for the first time, comics aren't just for kids anymore. Instant imitations flooded comic shops. Every publisher rushed to make their heroes dark, gritty, and violent. But the biggest transformation happened when Hollywood paid attention. Tim Burton took direct inspiration for his 1989 blockbuster. Decades later, Christopher Nolan named his Dark Trilogy directly after Miller's groundbreaking graphic novel. Zack Snyder lifted entire dialogue lines and battle choreography straight off Miller's comic pages for Batman v Superman. Miller remains humble about reshaping pop culture. When you contribute to a myth, you can't complain about the next priest. Frank Miller didn't just save Batman from campy extinction. He created the entire DNA of modern superhero cinema. Which version of Batman do you prefer, the dark, gritty vigilante, or the classic campy 60s hero? Let me know below. Hit that subscribe button for more deep dives into the comic history that built modern pop culture.